The Adventures of Sam and Sarah, the first in a series of four. This first one is called Exploring, and it came to me in a dream. And I just could not shake this dream. It was about 6 or 7 years ago. I wrote it down in a notebook. I did not come back across it for another couple years in my dad's basement. And as I was reading through it, I was just like, that this would actually make a good children's book. And that's how it really came to be. I never had any aspirations to write a children's book, although I've always wanted to be a writer, but here we are. I've always had this drive to be a writer. Ever since I was a kid, I literally everything I could do, it had to do with writing. Writing stories, any extracurricular activity, it had to do with writing or preparing myself to be a writer. And I just remember my grandmothers, both of them, they used to have these magazines laying around the house. Vibe magazine, Ebony, Jet was really the one, if y'all remember Jet. And I was just always like, I want to do that when I grow up. And I grew up and I did it for magazines, newspapers, somehow got into radio and started doing editorial on that end when things became digital. And I actually launched my own platform called gospelvideos.com, and it's taken me so many different places. And it's funny, when I was a kid, I never even knew how far writing could go. And maybe that's what in this new, as time goes on and things develop and evolve, there are just more avenues to go with it. But one thing I did not anticipate was writing a children's book specifically, and it happened. So my writing career actually took me back to where it all started as a kid. So the character names come straight from the Bible. Samuel was the son of Hannah. He was a miracle child, a seer, and a visionary. He was honest and fair. He loved God and obeyed God without question, despite idols and outside influences, some of which we actually give our attention to today. And Sarah in the Bible, she was the mother of nations, birthing Isaac at a very, very old age. And Sarah wasn't as strong in her faith as Sam was, but she does represent a lot of us. Sarah was weary of God's promise and even went about doing things her own way to get the results she wanted quicker, like we do sometimes, but God still did what he said he would do in her life to fit his plan. So both names are tied to those powerful births. And in the adventures of Sam and Sarah, neither child is tied to the characteristics of their namesake, but the general theme of integrity, forgiveness, community, faith, love, temptation, and decision-making are all represented in the brother-sister duo. I actually dedicated this book to my dad, so there's a page in here that says, "This book is dedicated to the loving memory of my father, Aliya Faust. May his legacy and the life lessons he shared continue to live on." So I hope I'm making him proud with it. When I actually first got the offer to do this book publishing partnership, I was in the ICU with my dad, who was fighting for his life for weeks, and I turned it down. I couldn't think of anything, not writing, I didn't want to do anything. So I actually did not think about it again. And almost a year to the date later, he passed away. And in that same week, this publishing company, the same one, called me again. And they were like, it's been some time, but we are still interested in partnering with you. And I don't know, I couldn't turn it down this time. I felt like it may have been a sign, because it all just kept happening in the same kind of realm. And I just went back into the writing piece and changed it a little bit to add this dedication and a lesson he taught me. So when you read it, you'll see that lesson, and I just hope it blesses you like his lessons blessed me throughout life.